like we can earn that movie this afternoon, shall we?
Yes.
Put your reading books away, your RC books away, so you're not tempted by fruit.
What page is that hard?
The page we're starting on is 185. Page 185. It's lesson 2. So we're doing something pretty similar to what we did yesterday. Yesterday we found fractional parts, and today your I can statement is I can find the product of a whole number and a fraction using a visual model. So pretty similar. We're going to do the visual models to help find the answers again. Earl bakes 3 loaves of bread. He keeps 1/4 of the bread for himself, and he gives the rest to his neighbors. So we're going to find out how many loaves of bread does Earl give to his neighbors. So similarly to yesterday, we used the whole number to decide how many we were going to draw, right? When we were looking at the cats. So today we're looking at loaves of bread, and it was 3 loaves, right? So we can draw 3 loaves of bread. And then the fractional part was 1/4 is what he kept for himself. So how many pieces of bread should we slice this into? 4. Good job. So we use the bottom part of the fraction, the denominator of 4, to know how many parts to divide it into. And then what should we shade in, Kennedy? 1/4 of each slice of bread, right? But if we go back up to the top and read the problem, are we finding out how many he kept or how many he gave away?
How many you
Gave away. So do you know how many he would have given away? Keegan? 9 what? Should we leave our answer like that though? What should we do?
Simplify it.
2 what?
Well, 4 can go to 9 once. Wait, no, twice.
Twice.
So that means it would be 4 as a denominator, and the numerator would be 1.
With one left over. Good job. So 2 and 1/4 loaves of bread is what he gave away to his neighbor. You guys think this is a little easier than yesterday?
Yes.
Makes a little more sense now. So how did we use the visual model to find our answer? Kennedy? Good job. It was able to show you how you got your answer. What? Yeah. Is everyone ready for the next one? Do you have a question?
So, like, we're doing like this technically the same thing as yesterday, but instead of the answers the shaded in, the answers are the not shaded in.
For that problem, yes. The next one, I think we're going to shade in the answer. So it just depends on what the question's asking you.
Wait, how
So
can
we
you
just have
tell?
to read the problem. What?
How can you like tell if it's one where you're gonna tell if it's shaded or not shaded?
Well,
The words.
Yeah, what it asked us, so we shaded in 1/4, but the problem told us he kept 1/4. So we find out how many loaves of bread does he give away. So you knew it was the rest of it. So you'll see with the next question, you'll see the difference. That's where word problems get a little tricky because you have to figure out what you're finding. So Mrs. Fan bakes 2 cakes, each in the shape of a hexagon. She takes 3/4 of the cake to the party. So, how many cakes are we drawing? 2. So how many pieces of cake do we need total using the fraction? Ty? 4. So that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of cake, right?
But there's only
What?
like. But wouldn't you do like where there's 4 in one?
4 slices.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to do this?
Yeah.
Okay, we can do
For a
that too.
second I was confused.
We'll get the same answer. So we can do 4 pieces. So then how much are we going to shade? Kennedy? 3 out of each. Because that is what she takes, right? So then we have how much of this cake and how much of this cake left? 1 over what? What's our fraction? 1/4. And 1/4. So now we want to find out how much cake she takes to the party using pattern blocks, and then I just have to scroll down. So can you do it like that? Miss Grady?
No, Chloe, here's why you have to do it out of 2. That was a good question. Because in the problem it says she takes 3/4 of the cakes. So you want to take both cakes and you're taking 3/4 of the whole thing.
Okay.
Chloe, that's why you got confused because you didn't see that it said of the cakes, plural, both of them. I know, that was different from the last one, huh?
So then when we shade in 3 parts, that's how we get this.
Now it's just 1 point. Oh, I see.
See, it says of the cakes.
Yeah.
So if both of the cakes together, it's as a whole. So then how much did she end up taking? Do you know, Chloe?
Still 1/4.
Well, 1/4 is what she has left over, but the
3/4.
3/4. That's not right either.
But
Chloe, look at that picture. How much of the cake is gone? How much did they eat?
well, 1 whole is gone, so wouldn't that be a whole number?
Yep, so they ate 1 whole, and then how much of the second one?
1/2.
Yep.
There we go.
Oh.
So she took 1.5 with her.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Why we didn't do 3/4? We took 1 whole one away and half of the other one.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. So how did you use pattern blocks to find the amount of cake Mrs. Fan takes to the party? Kennedy? job. So we used the shaded part. So do you see why, Chloe, why now we're using the shaded part? It's just based on whatever the question's asking you to find. So what amount of the 2 cakes does Mrs. Fan take to the party? Which Chloe told us is 1.5. So now we're gonna write a multiplication equation to model the problem. So what did we multiply to get 1.5? Chloe?
Wait, what do you mean, like what we did?
Yeah, so without drawing a picture now, we're gonna do a multiplication equation,
I don't know.
which is what we're doing. So back up at the top, we took 3/4. So you guys can write this down on letter C. I just can't scroll down to that one. Times 2. So what we did in the problem in drawing a picture, we did multiplication. Chloe?
But if you did that, would it be 2 3/4?
So this grade, should I show them like why that makes sense?
Yeah, you can show
Even though
them
like it
the,
doesn't show you how to like multiply
yeah,
fractions?
you can show them the normal way.
Okay.
Okay, on your homework, you still have to do it this way, but Miss Workman will show you the normal way.
So you're not confused.
So what did you think it was, Chloe?
Wouldn't it be 2 3/4?
So, well, we're multiplying instead of adding, which is kind of new to you guys. Kennedy? It would be 1 1/2. So we found our answer to this problem already by drawing the picture. But now it wants you to turn it into multiplication. And when you multiply, you have to make the second number a fraction by putting it over 1. Because 2 over 1 is the same thing as 2, right? And then when you multiply fractions, you multiply straight across. 3 times 2 is 6, and 4 times 1 is 4. And if you reduce that, what do you get?
Well, you would get 1 for your 4 as a denominator, and then your numerator would be 2.
But can you simplify 2 over 4? Aiden? So do you see how our multiplication problem that we had to write is our answer? We just are going to use visual models to find the answer. So this is where multiplication is different than adding and subtracting, because in multiplication you do not have to find a common denominator, you just multiply straight across. Does everyone have this written down for C? Okay. So we'll do something very similar on this problem number 2. We're going to draw the picture and find our answer, and then we'll double check our answer with multiplication. Rashad bakes 4 equal-sized granola bars. He serves 2/3 of the bars to his friends. So right here we can see the 4 granola bars. So this is similar to the loaves of bread. So we have 4 granola bars. And then using the fraction, how many pieces should we divide the granola bars into? Sydney, do you know? Using the fraction, we use the denominator first. 3. says he serves 2/3 of the bars to his friend.
Oh, it's two.
2 of each one. Good job. So what are we trying to find? Are we trying to find out how many he has left or how many he served? Chloe, do you know?
He has
How many he served? So we're trying to find out how can you find how many granola bars he serves. So that's just where you have to read the word problem all the way through to find out your answer, okay? Which is how many?
8.
Just 8? 8 granola bars?
No. 8 fours. Wait, hold on.
My picture's probably hard to see, but it's the same denominator as the problem.
So 3.
8 over 3. Ty, should we do that?
No, you can't we still you still have to simplify it?
To what? Do you know?
1 but you still can't do it,
So 3 can go into 8 how many times? Twice. Which is 6, and then how many is left over?
2.
So Rashad has 2 2/3 of the granola bars that he served. So what part of the fraction did we use to do the equal groups? The denominator or the numerator? Kennedy? Denominator. We had 3. So we had 3 pieces of the bar. And what did the 2 represent? In 2/3. Yep. And he served 2 of each one. So we just answered A and B. I just don't have room to write it on there. So my picture's hard to see, but you guys have it written down too. Letter C is asking you how many 1/3 size pieces did he serve? Jeremiah?
8.
8 pieces, good job. So now, Chloe, we have to do the multiplication. Do you think you know how to do it?
Maybe.
Does anyone want to try writing the multiplication problem for us? Ty, do you know what it would be?
It would be 2/3 times 4/3.
2/3 times 4/3? Where do you get 4/3 at?
For each.
So we just use the numbers in the problem. So instead of 4/3, it's just 4. Because there was 4 granola bars, right? And then what did we put 4 over to make it a fraction? Chloe?
You would put 1 under it.
1. Because that's the same thing, right? Do you see that, Ty? How it's
Yeah.
4 over 1? And then remember we can multiply straight across. Jeremiah, do you know what to do? What? Oh, what is your answer?
8/3.
8/3. So you did 2 times 4, right? And 3 times 1, is that what you did? But should Jeremiah leave his answer like that? Aiden, what? Which we already found from our visual model, right? So this lesson is actually a 2-day lesson. So we don't have to go on to problem 3 yet. We're gonna do it next week when we come back. But we are gonna do questions 4 and 5 of On Your Own. It's on page 189, questions 4 and 5. And then I'll come around and check your answers, and then we'll move on to the homework. Don't forget to draw your pictures. Yeah.
There's one of them on here.
Is it the same? It's close. It's the same numbers, but not exactly. You'll get it.
If we keep this program, I won't do that problem next year. Because it's different than everything else that we did.
Even what we did yesterday, so yeah, we divided anything into the unit.
That's the one we'll put that in there.
So it's the same thing, it's just without a story.
I doubt it. I really doubt it.
Yeah, you do. Yep. We have to draw a visual model to go along with it, okay?
These two.
Where's your model?
Small picture.
Draw a visual model to find the product.
Hi. Okay, you're gonna draw 4 rectangles.
Rectangles would probably be able to
Not like that. Draw
But
like
you
a
can do
long
it.
one.
You can still do this that way. 8, and then you'll shade how many of each.
That'll make 3 more. We're gonna divide each one into 8 because that's your denominator. So you're gonna do a line there. And then a line down the middle there.
Oh, you don't have to do it like yesterday. You can do it like we did the looks of ready. Just do 1, 2, 3.
And then do
Four
a line down. That one, that one, that one, that one. Now you're gonna shade in 3 of each rectangle. So 1, 2, 3, shade those in.
So you do 8.
And you're gonna shade in 3 from every single long rectangle that you made.
So 1, 4, 8. Can you do something with 4, 8? And same with 6,
Why don't you get it on a piece of paper? Because you're gonna do that tomorrow. Or Monday. Okay, so you shaded it 3, 3, 8, how many is that?
So that was as well. And we just each of those.
It's 12. Your denominator's gonna stay at 8, so put that over there.
Yes.
Alright, and then you're gonna make that a mixed number. So 8 was 12, how many times?
for who's ready to work on the homework, it's page 71. And then these are the numbers that go with what we did today.